Okay, so today we're diving into the world of blockchain gaming, which is
Uh,
something that
yeah.
honestly I have to admit I'm not super familiar with.
Right.
But
But
but it sounds really cool,
yeah.
and it's something that we get asked about a lot. So,
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. And I
yeah.
think it's one of those things where people hear about it.
Right.
They hear about, NFTs and crypto and all this. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wait, what does this have to do with games?
Yeah, how does that even work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna using the articles you sent,
Okay.
we're gonna really look into how these games work,
Yeah.
why people are so excited about them,
Right.
what the potential is,
Yeah.
and we'll even look into a blockchain card game
Okay.
that's from an Italian city.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Um so for those who might be new to this whole thing,
Yeah.
can we just kind of like define what a blockchain game is?
Sure. So basically, they're games that use blockchain technology, which is basically this kind of digital record keeping system.
Okay.
And it's decentralized, so it's not controlled by any one person or company.
Right.
And it's secure because it's really hard to tamper with.
Okay.
So in terms of games, this lets developers create like really unique in-game items as NFTs.
Okay, and I know we hear a lot about NFTs, but just as a quick reminder, what are those again?
Sure, so NFT stands for non-fungible token,
Okay.
and it basically represents something unique,
Okay.
like a piece of art, or in this case, a digital item in a game.
Got it.
And because they're on the blockchain, they can be bought, sold, traded, just like any other asset.
So that's where that whole idea of actual ownership in games comes in.
Exactly.
Because
Because,
in a traditional
in a
thing,
regular video game, yeah, you don't really own anything,
right,
right? You're just kind of renting it from the game company.
right.
But with NFTs, like you actually own these
And
items.
you can even take them to other games.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea of interoperability,
Okay.
where you could potentially use your items across different games.
Okay.
It's still kind of early days for that,
Right.
but that's the long-term vision.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Because I think all of us who have, played games, especially online games or things like that,
Yeah.
have felt that frustration of like,
Totally.
I put all this work into getting this really awesome, piece of armor or whatever,
Yes.
and it's not really mine.
Not yours.
It's kind of like I'm renting it.
Exactly. And I think that's why the survey by the Blockchain Game Alliance
Yeah.
found that like 85% of respondents
Oh, wow.
said that ownership was a key factor for them in blockchain gaming.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think
It's kind of like a psychological thing too, right?
it is.
Like you feel like you have more.
It's like a sense of ownership, like a sense of control over
Right.
your digital life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I actually achieved this and I have this to show for
It's
it.
exactly.
So it's interesting.
It's a big deal.
Okay, so we've talked about the NFTs
Right.
and this idea of ownership, but what about the technology itself?
Yeah.
Like, does the type of blockchain matter?
It does. So there are different blockchains out there, and
Right.
they all have different strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
So like Ethereum is one of the most popular ones for NFTs,
Yeah.
but it can be really slow and expensive to use.
I see.
There are newer blockchains like Solana that are faster and cheaper, but
Right.
they might not be as secure or
Okay.
as decentralized.
It's like anything else, right? You have to kind of
Exactly.
weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah, it's like choosing the right tool for the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We talked about the NFTs. We've talked about the tech.
right.
How are people actually making money from this?
So that's where the whole play to earn thing comes in.
Okay.
You probably heard of games like Axie Infinity.
I have heard of that one.
Yeah, so in these games,
Right.
you can earn cryptocurrency by doing things in the game,
Okay.
like completing quests or winning battles.
Okay.
And you can actually like cash out that cryptocurrency
Oh, okay.
for real money.
So it's not just like
It's not just
in-game currency.
no, it's like real.
It's actually like.
Yeah, it's like real cryptocurrency that
Yeah.
you can then exchange
Okay.
for other cryptocurrencies or even for like dollars or euros.
That is so interesting, and that's actually sustainable. Like, how does that work for the people making the game?
So developers can actually build in systems where they get a cut of every transaction.
Okay.
Like every time an item is sold on the marketplace,
Oh,
they get a small percentage.
I see.
So it creates this kind of like more sustainable ecosystem
Okay.
where everybody can potentially benefit.
Interesting. I mean, that all sounds amazing,
Yeah.
but I have to say, like, I'm also kind of skeptical, you know? Like, what are the risks here?
Yeah, no, I think it's important to be skeptical because it is a new industry. And
Right.
not all play-to-earn games are created equal.
Right.
Some of them are just not very fun to play.
Right.
They're just kind of grindy and
And it's
repetitive. And
right. Like you're just working.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's also the risk of like the cryptocurrency market crashing,
Oh, right.
and then your earnings are suddenly worth a lot less.
So it's kind of
Yeah, it's a
like
risk.
any other market, right?
It's a risk.
You have to
Exactly.
kind of be careful.
Exactly.
And, it is interesting, though, because the research you shared from the IMARS group,
Yeah.
they're saying that this market is going to be huge.
Huge, yeah.
They estimated that it was worth over $4.6 billion last year.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning.
And they're projecting it to reach like 65.7 billion.
By 2026.
By 2027, that is insane.
Yeah, I mean, those are some pretty impressive numbers. And it shows you that there's a lot of interest and a lot of investment going into this space.
So clearly there's something here.
Yeah, I think so.
So all of that being said, how is this all actually playing out in the real world?
So we're starting to see some really interesting real-world applications, and
Okay.
one company that's doing some really cool stuff is Hoken,
Okay.
which is this Italian startup,
Okay.
and they're creating customizable blockchain games for brands and events.
Okay, so it's not just about like the games themselves. They're actually
It's going beyond.
using the technology for
Yeah, using the
other
technology
purposes.
for other things, yeah.
That's interesting. What kind of stuff are they doing?
So, for example,
Okay.
they created this game called Kind Hero,
Okay.
and it was a blockchain card game specifically for this event in Italy called Malfest,
Okay.
which is like a festival in the city of Molfetta.
Okay.
And the game was designed to promote tourism in the city.
Oh, how interesting.
So players could collect NFTs of local landmarks and attractions. They could learn about the city's history.
Yeah.
And they could even win rewards.
So it's like they're gamifying tourism.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
It's a really cool way to engage people
Yeah.
with a place.
That is very cool.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you could imagine blockchain games
Yeah.
for concerts or festivals or
Even like educational.
yeah, educational events.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's a really cool way to kind of like blend the real world and the digital world.
I love that. And then they also have that game, Leap to NFT,
Yeah, that one's really cool.
bringing back the
With-
Game Boy.
Classic Game Boy, yeah.
I love that.
It's a really cool way to kind of like tap into that nostalgia,
Yeah, yeah.
but also introduce people to this new technology.
That's great. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
If we had to sort of like sum this all up,
Yeah.
what would you say are the like key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the main takeaway is that blockchain technology is really changing the way we think about gaming.
Oh.
It's not just about new games, it's about this whole new concept of ownership and
Oh, yeah.
community and value in the digital world.
And it really feels like we're just at the very beginning of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing gaming and NFTs and the metaverse all starting to converge.
Right. It's really exciting.
It's a really exciting time.
So as our listeners continue to kind of like explore this world,
Yeah.
is there a final thought that we can sort of leave them with?
Yeah, I think the big question to think about is, could blockchain actually be the future of entertainment and marketing and even education?
That's a really good question.
Like, what if all these experiences were powered by blockchain?
Yeah, the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit.
Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive
Yeah, this was fun.
into blockchain gaming.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
See where this crazy journey takes you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
This has been your personalized deep dive tailored just for you.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye.